Hello, this is Chef John from foodwishes.com with Santa Maria Tri-Tip, the famous California barbecue. Black is beautiful with this recipe. This is a grilled barbecued piece of tri-tip beef, and it starts with a dry rub. So I'm going to take some salt, some black pepper, freshly ground of course, some paprika. Now I use smoked paprika. You can use regular sweet paprika. Some garlic powder, some onion powder, and some cayenne. We're also going to put in some dried rosemary, and we're going to mix that up. So that's the dry rub. Now the cut of meat we're using here is called a tri-tip roast. It's from the bottom sirloin of beef and very common in California. You might have to ask your butcher to cut you one if you live somewhere else, but I think these are getting very popular around the country. So hopefully you can find a tri-tip roast. They usually are about 2.5 pounds, which is a perfect size. We're going to coat it very generously on both sides with our dry rub. Okay, and I like to kind of pat it in a little bit with the tongs. After it's all sprinkled on, I like to pick it up and kind of get the edges with some of the dry rub that fell off. All right, so we're going to wrap that up and put it in the refrigerator for 4 hours. In the meantime, we're going to make a little bit of a basting sauce. So I have some garlic cloves, a little bit of vegetable oil. You want an unflavored oil for this. Red wine vinegar. And a little dab of mustard, which is going to help emulsify this sauce when I shake it. So give it a shake, and that's it. Now, this version we're doing is not really traditional. Traditionally, the only thing this recipe got was the dry rub. We're actually going to have a little kind of basting sauce to go with it to help create that really signature dark, black, caramelized crust. All right, 4 hours later, our tri-tip is ready to come out. We're going to let it sit at room temperature for a half hour to warm up. We're going to go outside, and I have a very, very hot grill, okay? The key to this recipe is a really, really hot flame. You really want to caramelize this crust just black. Well done. Because there's no sugars in the sauce or in the rub, you're not going to get that nasty burn flavor. You're going to get the signature Santa Maria barbecue effect. Okay, so here's the drill. Normally, when we grill, we just put the meat on, leave it, turn it once till it's done. Not with the Santa Maria tri-tip. All right, every 3 or 4 minutes, you're going to flip it, baste it with your oil and vinegar sauce, and keep doing that. And it's going to take between 25 minutes and a half hour if you got a really hot flame for this to come medium rare. Now, very important, notice I'm turning and then basting. Turning, then basting. If you baste and then turn, and then all that oil just pours in the fire, it's going to affect the flavor, and it won't be as good. And also people will be like, hey, where'd your eyebrows go? All right, no eyebrows is not a good look, unless you're, Whoopi Goldberg. So be careful with that. So it's baste after turning. All right, about a half hour later, I used a thermometer to check. There's no shame. Okay, don't go commando. Use a thermometer. It was just almost 130. I pulled it off. Let it sit minimum 10 minutes. Now the nice thing about a tri-tip is when you cut it, the tips of the tip are going to be well done, medium well, medium sorta. And as you cut towards the center, it will become beautifully medium rare. And if you're lucky, there might even be a rare slice or two in there. So there's something for everybody. This is a great cut of beef. And the history is kind of interesting. This was actually a specialty of the ranch hands, the Spanish ranchers back in the day. This was considered kind of a tough cut of meat. So they were given this piece, which they gladly accepted, and grilled over really hot red oak coals. Of course, they didn't tell the, bosses how delicious and juicy it was. They pretended it was tough. So that's kind of the history. But history schmistery, who cares? It's delicious. Don't be afraid of the black crust. It's part of the flavor profile. And I hope you give this a try. Ask your butcher for a tri-tip. All the ingredients are on the site. And as always, enjoy.